what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing a fish room update, primarily just focusing on the equipment and some of the things that I moved and removed and changed in here. And then we will do a separate video next week of kind of inside the low boys, inside the 300 and inside the 40 breeder with the filter so you guys can see what's going on and it's not so blue. So for now, we're just going to talk about what's going on down here and get you guys up to speed. So, elephant in the room, or basically the tub not in the room anymore. Yeah, removed the 125-gallon plastic tub. I ended up selling it to a friend who actually grows coral, which worked out pretty well. And long story short, had to get rid of it because I'm expanding my printers. I need more room for printers. The 3D printing stuff is going crazy, which is nice. Just an understanding on that, guys, it's like 1 to 3 to 4 weeks on processing orders, and I mean, I'm going through a ton of orders really quickly, and the only issue is now is just getting filament in. I mean, there's so many delays, but either way, needed more printers, which will be kind of going right here. I'll move my board around, which I use to organize orders. So, yep, that needed to happen. And also on top of that, Big Bertha just wasn't as happy as I wanted her to be, and that's this beautiful giant who destroyed the tank originally. If you've been here for a while, love this fish. Okay, so basically when I would walk over to the tub, she'd always stick her head out of the water like, hey, what's up? She was cool to pet, you can hand feed, all that great stuff, but she didn't seem very happy. And then of course that one video where she jumped out of the tub while I was recording, you guys saw that. I think it's on one of my reels or whatever, or shorts. But yeah, thankfully I was there to get her for that, but I just didn't want to risk that anymore. I knew she wasn't as happy, so I figured, what the heck, we'll just put her back in the 300 along with the fox face and the rabbit fish. And there's a ton of more fish in here, you guys will see. I mean, there's a ton of fish, which is really great. But the coral seems to be okay with her so far. She hasn't really knocked into anything, but again, this tank has not grown out. It hasn't really grown at all over the last several months just because of some of the things we'll talk about in some future videos. Me slacking, basically. We'll sum it up to that, me slacking. I guess that's an understatement. It is pretty bad, but the tank is still alive, barely, I guess. But it is going. It's growing. The coloration's coming back. But lots of lessons learned, and it just goes to show if you're not paying attention to things or on top of things, it could go south without you realizing it. And we'll talk about all that in future videos. But until then, yeah, she's doing great. She's doing really well. Really, just all day swimming. Eats like a horse. Of course, you know, she's a great fish. So back in the 300. Gonna keep her there until she, until I gotta get her out again. I guess we'll see. I'm trying to get another couple years out of her. I really don't want to get rid of that fish. So, anyways, the tub's gone. The lighting I still have. No, the lighting is not for sale. I will be most likely 99% chance I will be transitioning that lighting over to the 300. Currently, I am running 8 XR15 Gen 4 Pros, Reef Bright strips, and T5 actinic and blue plus bulbs. Now the issue is, and I know you can't see it, but this one right here, where my finger is, at night I'm getting the green light of death, basically indicating that they're all like, yo, you gonna feed me? I just fed you. Anyways, basically indicating that the light is gonna die at some point. And yeah, so when this XR15 dies, I'm going to just replace all of them with Kessels, and that's it for me. I've had a lot of Radians die over the last couple years. Thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars worth of lighting die from moisture, apparently, from being in there, even though there's fans running. But we're not going to get into that, just irritated by that whole situation. But either way, I got Kessel lighting ready to go once that one shits the bed. So, yep. Anyways, let's see what else we got going here. I guess we can look at the plumbing real quick in this board. So, I did move my power board over here. I will be creating some special strips to hold up the power bricks here. I do have some on my website, but I'm going to build something special so they're all lined up, and I'm working on that now. But either way, I know it's a little bit of a mess. Not nearly as bad as it used to be, but yeah, it's not too bad. So plumbing was pretty easy. Just basically cut off here, cut this 1.5, dropped it down to a 1-inch. Comes from the drain over, no big deal. Kind of got it out of the way as much as I could. And then the return is a 3/4 inch and then over to 3/4 inch. And then just put a little ball valve there to add some back pressure to the system. And yeah, it works out fine. It was super easy. Took maybe 10-15 minutes. Had the piping and fittings on hand, which worked out really well. So yeah, really like this tank. The only thing that I might do is I might just scrap it all together and go to a 75 or a 125. I'm thinking I'm going to get a bigger tank down here just because I want to have more room for the nems, but I also want to grow a lot more coral. There's a ton of stuff in here. We'll look at it closely next week, but I have 5 clownfish in there, 3 tomatoes, and 2 skunk cleaners. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, I think they're skunk cleaners. And everybody gets along, doing great, but I'm going to outgrow that 40 breeder real quick, I have a feeling. So I might consider getting a 125, maybe that new 60 long, which is kind of cool looking. I saw that at Petco. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. But anyways, kind of moving over here. I got the Trident Fix, as you guys know, working out pretty good. Still using the dual chamber here for the calcium reactor. One thing that I'm trying out, which is actually working out pretty good, is I've actually stopped using filter socks. I 3D printed these spacers because the noise was just ridiculous. So these spacers just kind of sit where the filter socks were, and it cuts down on the noise, works out pretty good. I also created a spacer that blocks out the filter sock hole altogether. So when I do decide to use them later on, maybe I'll only use 2 filter socks. That way I don't have to change out 4, twice a week kind of thing. We'll see. And yeah, I'll just use a spacer to block it out completely. Now, I do offer that stuff on the website if you're interested. There's basically a request that somebody had, and I wanted to see if it would work on my system, and I really like it, and it cuts down on the noise, so I'm just going to keep it that way. Now, not only did I not want to clean filter socks anymore, I really wanted to dial in my Niles Quantum and just get that thing pumping. So I went ahead and cleaned the pumps, which I haven't done in forever, and then just dialed it in. So it's taking care of most of the organics. The collection container is a 5-gallon Avast Marine, which I'll show you guys here in a second. But basically, the skimmer neck cleans every 2 hours. It cleans the neck for about 10 minutes. The skimmate drains down over to the collection container, and then it tells me when it's full via the apex, shuts the skimmer off, and I go and drain it, and we just keep going. So it's rocking really good. My nutrients are staying pretty stable. They're pretty low given the fact that I'm feeding a ton of food. The skimmer is so powerful. So really nice, especially with the less water volume, 125 gallons less. It's I mean, this thing's just cranking. And yeah, so moving over here, still using the CO2 scrubber, working out pretty good with the recirculating and the collection container. What can I say? It works, so I'm going to keep using it. One thing that I started using a couple months ago that I stopped using was GFO. I did have some elevated phosphates because of the food that I would create myself. It just had too many phosphates, so I've adjusted how I make food, and we'll do that in a later video as well. But basically trying to balance out those nitrates and phosphates so I don't really have issues like that in the future. But yeah, so right now I'm only using carbon, 3 cups of 0.8 ROX, 0.8, I think that's what it is. Change it out once a month, works out pretty good. And then a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, my main return pump died. The DC, I think it was 12,000, finally died after all these years. I mean, crazy. I can't believe, I mean, the fact that it lived that long. I mean, we're looking at, what, 5 years for that one pump, 6 years? No, I got it back on the 125 about halfway through. Like 6 years, 7 years. It's crazy. Either way, it finally died, so I went ahead and had to replumb everything. I mean, everything. It was a mess. And of course, it happened at 1 a.m., so you know me, had to do it. So I went ahead and plumbed, I'm trying not to mess this up, the DCS, I think it is DCS 18,000, and it's running at about 110 watts, and it takes care of everything. So main display takes care of the 40 breeder, takes care of the chiller, and then the refugium at the same time. It takes care of the UV sterilizer and the low boy. So all of that from one pump, and it's still only at about 70%. So pretty excited about that. And of course, you know, saving money with electric bill is always nice, and having a reliable pump. So, yep, pretty happy about that. Now moving over here, I am running flow sensors, FMM module flow sensors on my carbon reactor and my chiller, just because I want to know kind of what's going through those. Using the dose pump here to pull not only nitrates, which I have right here. I like to dose nitrates when I'm getting a little bit low. It seems to be the one thing that stays low, just because I feed a lot of nori and plant-based foods. So of course the nitrates are going to be a little bit lower. And so anyways, the other dosing head is going to be for the calc reactor here, the Avast Marine. So basically it pulls fresh water from the ATO all the way over into the bottom of the calc stir, and then it just flops over. I 3D printed a little hook there that kind of holds the tubing and just drips down into the refugium. And here goes my phone, please don't mess up. And then of course I have my new 3D printed Chaeto guard for the Geo sump. It's a 1-inch thing and basically keeps the Chaeto from going in there. So yeah, 3D printing is pretty amazing for this, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, when it comes to calc, I'm only dosing about 1,000 milliliters a day at the moment, just because I had a lot of things happen to the system over the last month or so, and a lot of coral died, So now the growth is starting to pick back up. Of course, alkalinity is being tested every day with the Trident. So taking a little while. I was at like 5,000 milliliters at one point before the tank kind of went south, but I'll be back up to that. Of course, having the basically the calcium reactor doing its thing as well. So having both those methods is really nice, especially helping balance out the pH. So over here, the UV sterilizer, I haven't changed the bulbs on it yet, but I did go ahead and create a new mount for it just because it was sagging a little bit. It actually looked kind of awful. So I 3D printed a mount for it. Pretty sweet. That's not available for sale, but if you're interested, let me know. I just didn't think that many people would need it, but if you are looking for something like that, let me know. This thing stays on 24/7. It's running, last time I calculated, it's running about 200 gallons per hour, so I don't really use it a lot. I like just to keep the water clear and kind of algae at bay and dinos or anything like that if they were to pop up. And it turns off automatically when I feed, so that way the bulbs aren't burning out without any flow, and it's good to go from there. Now when it comes to the RO system, I went ahead and replaced both membranes. We'll talk about this in a later video. Carbon blocks weren't changed for a long time, so that was one of the issues that I was having. Just it was a mess. So yeah, I'm just thinking about like how stupid I was. Not changing my carbon blocks was a problem. The RO membranes are okay, but I changed them anyways. So changed those out, and now, I mean, my DI is lasting forever. So basically, the first chamber will end up burning up, and I'll swap it with the second one, put a new one in, and just kind of keep them rotated. But yeah, just some lessons learned on that. Just it's sad. You know, I've been doing this for so long, and I still just jacking shit up. So either way, fixed the problem, so we're good to go. Of course, our 160-gallon RO collection container, which comes over here, where we can turn it on and off with a little switch via the apex. Now my 30-gallon, sorry, moving around here, 35-gallon mixing, this is where I get my salt water. So I have a pump in there, and then I have a heater that I have set to 78 degrees. So I put the water in, it mixes for 24 hours. When I'm ready to go, turn the ball valve, comes over, dumps into the top here. I know that's super blue, but it dumps in here, gets back in the system, good to go. So it's a pretty basic setup, I guess you consider that. It's pretty basic, you know, on the grand scheme of things and the things that I've tried in the past. At this point, I'm just trying to get everything back to normal. Like I said, I've been slacking for the last year. A lot of stuff going on with 3D printing, a lot of stuff going on personally. So I've been slacking on the system, and it shows. So with that, I've implemented a lot of reminders in the Apex. We'll talk about this in a later video. A lot of things to set me up for success in the future. So I'm not forgetting to calibrate my temp probe. I'm not forgetting to calibrate, you know, the salinity probes or my Milwaukee or the pH probes and the reactors. Reminding me to clean the pumps. Reminding me to change, you know, send out ICP tests. Reminding me to change out the carbon blocks. Just things that I've neglected that really, I mean, as individual things probably aren't a big deal, but when all of them are having issues, and trust me, all of them were having issues, and when they all compound together, it's a problem. So, and yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. As for the rest of the fish room, we have my testing, coral cutting, 3D printer fixing bench, which I actually really like. It's nice. It's just nice. I don't know. It's nice to have all my shit together. Over here, of course, the printers. This is where I try to keep my orders organized. Stuff that is waiting for a printer there. Not really having too many printers down at the moment. The only issue I'm having is not getting filament in. It's taking forever to get filament. 2 weeks out to get filament. But I've been trying to stock up and trying to keep things processed. Again, it's like 1 to 3 weeks for 99% of the orders. A lot of stuff, if you order in black, it's going to print faster. It's just the way it is. It's hard to get colors in sometimes. So outside of that, I only have one printer down. This Ender 5 Plus right here. Just having some alignment issues with the belt. Got to fix that. Outside of that, after I upgraded all the printers to the new custom hot ends that I created, I haven't had any issues. Everything's just rocking solid. Print quality's a lot better. Print timing's a lot better. And it's just nice not to have 10 printers broken at once, because everything is finally back to where it should be. Outside of that, let's see. Let's keep shit here. I just got stuff. Nothing too crazy. The bike that I don't know where I'm going to put. It was in the back of my truck. I just traded in my truck, so I don't have that in there anymore. Yeah. I think that's it. I think we're good. Of course, the packing bench and some orders that are going out today. And that's it. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to know about the fish room, feel free to let me know. Again, I will do a closer video next week of inside the tank so you guys can see what's going on. You can see Big Bertha. I got these, I don't know, I really want to show you guys now. They're these, what is this dude choker called? Just a convict, not sick, I was going to say sickly, convict, damsel, I think it is. I don't know what it is. This joker here, I know you can barely see them. I got two of them. They're the coolest fish ever, man. They're just the sweetest things. I love them. They're great. We got the Flame Angel. We got a ton of crap in there. So, anyways, save that for next week. But, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to support the channel, head over to fishofhex.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow or Thursday with the Reef Tanks for Veteran video. That will be out this week. All right? I promise. I'll see you guys later. Peace.